we don't need roads.
Guys, I am so jacked to talk with you today. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
Hey, thank you. We're jacked too.
Excellent. I'm going to jump into this because I got 1,000 questions for you. I'm going to tell you and be honest, some of the biggest arguments I ever got into with my friends when we were kids, when we were growing up, was who was going to be which Ninja Turtle. I mean, this led to massive blowout fights that we still talk about today. I'm sort of curious, was there ever any debate, fighting, or arguments between you guys as to who was going to be which turtle?
Definitely not. I feel like Cassie did a great job at
Cassie
picking
did a
out
good
who
job
was
for sure.
who was which. But I remember Nick was initially supposed to be Donatello, and I remember I met him in the chemistry, and I was like, oh, this guy's like definitely my biggest competition. Like, this guy's so funny and he's so energetic. But eventually they asked him to do Leon, and I was like, whew, like, thank God.
Yeah.
So what you guys are telling me is that you guys are more mature and adult than a group of 35-year-old men who to this day still argue over who was supposed to be Donatello and Leonardo.
I think if it was in our power to argue, we would definitely get into it. But since it was a whole other department, it was like, you know what? I'm happy being blue. I bet you're happy being red. Like, we're all happy with our colors.
That made life easy for you. One of my favorite pieces of pop culture trivia is that the accident that created the Ninja Turtles is the same accident that turned Matt Murdock into Daredevil. How do you think that your turtles would react to Daredevil if they had the chance to meet him?
Ooh.
If they were in legal trouble, I think they would know who to call. I think if they ever got in trouble with like the New York judicial system, they would have somebody on their side.
Yeah.
But what else? I don't know.
I think that him and Raph would really bump heads a lot.
Yeah.
And also even Donnie and Ralph wouldn't like him as much, but like Leo and Mikey would, just because it's like he's smart and mean at the same time. So it's a battle of like intelligence and strength. So
I think it would be a amazing fight scene.
Yeah.
for sure.
I think it would make a sick fight scene.
This is the crossover I did not know I needed, but right now I guarantee you the studio is behind the scenes going, yeah, this sounds really good. This sounds really good. So when I was growing up, my Ninja Turtle movies were a bunch of guys in rubber suits. It was Vanilla Ice on the soundtrack. The live action movies were honestly played on a loop in my house, all three of them, particularly Secret of the Ooze. Is there any part of you guys that would love to put on those suits and do this in live action?
Actually, I have. There's like a picture of me on Instagram where I'm wearing the head, and then this guy I met, like he had the TMNT van, so yeah, it was really fun. I got to drive around town.
Yeah, when I got the audition, I honestly thought that's what it was gonna be. Like I just saw the turtles, and then they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be this and that," and I guess I didn't really read the description fully through because they asked us to do an on-person like audition instead of just regular voiceover. So I'm like, okay, bet, like I'm gonna get in a suit, like I'm gonna be in the gym, like I'm gonna be like training with nunchucks.
I don't think you were ready for it.
I was so ready.
I
was so ready for sure.
I want to talk about that because speaking of performing in live action, when you guys are in the recording booth, I know that like you're not just rolling in there and reading the lines and then going home. I know that you guys get pretty physical. What was the most physical thing that you guys did in the recording booth just to like get you to the place you needed to be for your character?
I think it's just the whole third act, right? I mean, it gets pretty crazy. I think just the action sequences. People see voiceover and they say, you know, you have to translate everything through your voice. But for me, in my process, it helps to move around. And I saw all of you guys, like, you know, throwing punches and kicks when we had to do that. So.
Jeff gave Nick a bar.
He
was like, 2? No.
I was moving too much, so they gave me like a
They
little
gave him,
gymnast
like, a
bar
little-
to hold on to.
Yeah.
I was like so physical, yeah. I guess
Like
that's
in scenes,
why.
you just take it and be like,
Yeah, we're all the
Like,
rest
when
of
he
us
was,
three
like,
are like sitting in a chair, and he's like,
Yeah, I'm standing up, I'm holding on to this thing.
he's the only one standing, shaking his bar. Like,
I really need the studio to give me the behind the scenes footage.
Yeah.
Of you guys in the front.
It's out there.
I really hope someone was rolling video on that because I really need to see that. Guys, seriously, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time. I grew up with these movies, so to have them continue to not just be continued, but at the level that you guys are continuing it is absolutely fantastic. So seriously, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
Hey, thank you so much.
having us.
All right,
This was
thank you
great.
guys. See you later.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Noticias Where we're going, we don't need roads.